everybody, it's Chris Eads, known online as Wootini, here with another one of my Gay Gamer video podcasts. I want to explain my t-shirt. This is a t-shirt from Plastic Forks, which was a Marvel/Epic Comics mini-series by Ted McKeever back in like the early 90s. I am wearing it today because it is my husband and my anniversary, and this is the shirt that I was wearing 27 years ago today when we first met. I worked at a comic book store back in college, so hence discounted t-shirts. I have never thrown it away. It is too big. The neck is very uncomfortable. It's like really thick and annoying. It's also very yellow and gross and old, but I will never throw it away because, you know, sentimental reasons. Happy anniversary to us. And so I'm wearing my Plastic Forks t-shirt for this week's episode. A couple quick movie reviews to get out of the way first. I went to see Ready or Not, which was quite entertaining. It was a lot of fun. The trailer, which I had to close my eyes halfway through once I realized I think I want to see this one. Whenever I see a trailer and I'm like, oh, I kind of think I want to see this, I have to shut my eyes because the trailers will spoil a lot. And in fact, this trailer for Ready or Not, it spoiled a lot of the, like, you know, slapstick gags. So when those moments happened in the movie, they had absolutely no impact because you remembered them from the trailer. Trailers suck. But no, it was a fun, entertaining movie. Bizarre. I thought it was going to be funnier than it was, which isn't to say that it wasn't funny. It was funny. I thought it was going to be more of a black comedy and less of a thriller, but it was more of a thriller and with black comedy in it. But like, it was sort of thrillery, and then at the end it gets like completely bonkers, and then it's very black comedy. And I laughed quite a bit. It was very entertaining, totally worth a Netflix rental. The lead actress, Samara Weaving, who I've never really heard of before. I thought it was Margot Robbie, but she's like Margot Robbie, but like a cheaper Margot Robbie, I guess, because she hasn't been nominated for an Academy Award. She's really good. Andie MacDowell is also quite good. The actor playing her husband, though, Samara Weaving's husband, not Andie MacDowell's husband, he was disappointing, and it sucked because I wish he was able to sell, like, his character has some pivots throughout the movie. Not trying not to spoil anything, but the actor didn't quite sell them, so I was kind of like, I don't understand your character. The script wasn't getting it across, and then the actor didn't help, so it was just sort of muddled. But I guess you're not really supposed to think about it too much. It's just a fun thrill ride kind of thing. So, recommended. The other thing that I saw was Good Boys, which was hilarious, but surprisingly sweet. The trailer, again, makes it out to be this like raunchy sex comedy with preteen boys, and it's full of cursing and sex jokes and all kinds of raunchy stuff. And it was funny because I sat down, and like just down the aisle from me, this mother came in with her preteen son who looked to be about the ages of these kids in the movie, which is to say like 6th grade. And I was like, this is a raunchy sex comedy kind of thing, and I know it's about preteen boys, but that's sort of, I don't know if I would take my 6th grader to this movie. It's like, but he seemed to enjoy it, although I think Mom laughed at more jokes than he did. Because, I mean, half the joke is that the kids don't understand sex because they are just children still. They're not yet teenagers. But it was really funny, and it was very sweet, and it had a lot of heart, and at the end I was literally like, aww. So that is also recommended. Obviously, like, you know, a Netflix kind of thing, don't spend like $16 in the theater for it. But I gotta get my money's worth out of my AMC A-list, and the more movies I see, the cheaper they are. So I saw 4 movies this month, which means they were $6 a piece, which is totally doable. The other thing is that I looked back at what I saw this month, and none of these movies that I saw this month would I have paid out of my own pocket to see in the theater. But because I have the subscription, I keep going to the movies. But I kind of like that because it makes me see more movies. I am seeing more movies now. Like, ever since I signed up for MoviePass 2 years ago, or whatever it was, I've been seeing movies all the time. And I see a lot of movies that normally I would say, oh, I'll wait for Netflix. But then, when it shows up on Netflix, I still don't see it. So I'm seeing a lot of movies that I would normally say, oh, I'll wait and rent that later, but then never get around to it. So this way I'm seeing them, so it's good. Because when I'm at home, and I'm seeing from my TV, and I have to kill an hour or two, I'm like, I'm going to play a video game, honestly. Like, I'm 9 times out of 10, I'm going to play a video game rather than sit down and watch a long movie. But unless it's something I really want to see. But if it's something I really want to see, I'll have seen it in the theaters. So I'd rather play a video game. So thank you, these movie subscription plans have gotten me to see more movies than I normally would. So it's good. The other thing I want to talk about is FlameCon, which, as you might recall from last episode, I was in the middle of when I recorded that episode. It is all over now. It was last Saturday and Sunday, and it remains a delight. I just like it because it's super low-key. You know, it's not like Comic-Con where it's like really expensive and it's stupid crowded and there's like too much to see and you can't possibly see it all, and like there's all these famous people and you have like lines out the door and it's just like, it's too much. You know, this is much quieter, it's much smaller. The lines aren't so bad, although there was still a line to get in on Saturday when I first got there, though it moved very quickly. It's just, I feel like it's just so much more casual because I can just go and I hang out with my friends and I check out the merch and like watch some performances and check out the cosplay, and it's just, there's no pressure. I don't feel like, oh, I've got to go see this, so I've got to go do that, you know. Personally, I would like some more general merchandise. A lot of what is there is like art, and it's not anything I'm really interested in. It's a lot of like, you know, anime characters I don't know who they are, or it's like fantasy stuff that I'm like, meh, or it's like those ship things with like Captain America and Bucky making out, and I'm like, I don't need that on my wall, thank you. It's cute, but I don't need that. So I actually didn't spend a whole lot this year. I picked up my friend John's comic, Closet of Secrets, because I hadn't been to the comic book store to buy it, so I just bought it directly from him. Then I bought a Magical Boy sticker from DJ Kirkland, and I stuck it to the refrigerator. I wish it was a magnet. And then I also bought, I couldn't resist, I bought this adorable plush Tinky Winky, handmade Tinky Winky toy, little plush toy, from Yarnies. And I saw it on Sunday, a friend of mine got one of these, but it was a Totoro, and I was like, ah, Totoro! But I really like the Tinky Winky, he's super cute. So, didn't spend a whole lot, it was great. I just sort of hung out, watched some performances, checked out the cosplay. There was some great cosplay. Some friends of mine were dressed up as Final Fantasy X characters, which was super awesome. And when they hit the stage for their presentation during the cosplay contest, Yuna changed. She did a reveal. It was epic. She whipped her costume around and went from her summoner's costume to her pop star costume from X2, and it was amazing. But my favorite cosplay, I have to say, was probably Old Man Squirrel Girl, who cracked me up. I thought it was genius. I was like, oh my god, it's Squirrel Girl, and he's like, it's Old Man Squirrel Girl. I was like, that's amazing! And I felt like he was cheated because he only came in third in Sunday's cosplay contest. I also liked that guy because when I was leaving on Saturday, he stopped me and went, Wootini? And I was like, what? Because that doesn't happen anymore. But he actually apparently was watching my podcasts. So, hi, if you're watching this one. I appreciate that somebody's still watching these. Because I used to get recognized before, like I'd be at PAX or something, PAX East, and somebody'd go like, hey, are you Wootini from GayGamer.net? And I was like, yes, I am. But now that the GayGamer.net is long gone, I don't get that anymore. So it was kind of, oh, someone recognized me. You know, but I am trying to keep the spirit of GayGamer.net alive through these video podcasts and also my weekly Animal Crossing diaries, which I post to my Medium account, and you can find the link on my Twitter, WootiniGG, as always. But I'm just trying to keep a little bit of GayGamer.net still alive somewhere. And speaking of gaming, segue. I'm still playing the hell out of No Man's Sky since the Beyond update. It's kind of ridiculous, but I can't help myself. I'm obsessed. I have not touched Detroit since the Beyond update. It's just been No Man's Sky. I've also been playing primarily on the TV because I'm lazy, and it's just easier for me to play on the TV with my controller than to have to go and like plug in the VR headset and set that up and then get the Move controllers turned on and get them going. It's just, I'm lazy. Also, I like taking my photos, and there is no photo mode in VR. I mean, you can take a screenshot, but you can't do the photo mode stuff. And I've also been logging some bug posts. I've been logging some bugs with the No Man's Sky website because there are still a lot of bugs. There have been a lot of updates, but there's still a lot of bugs and things that are not great. So, you know, it's unfortunate that the actual players are the ones playtesting the game and reporting bugs, but with a huge sandbox game like this, honestly, it's, you know, I get it. And I don't mind it, because they are also on top of it. And they fixed, like, the big game-breaking bugs, like, you know, the game crashing, and, you know, that's bad. Right now, it's just sort of, I can still play the game, it's just sort of like, hey, you should probably fix this at some point. Like, when I play in VR, and I'm mining something, there's like a black box that, like, appears over the front of thing when I'm mining, so I can still mine it, but I can't really see what I'm shooting at because this big black box appears. So it's a little annoying, but, you know, it's fine. It's not fine, but it's, like, acceptable, I guess. It still works. And then I noticed recently that when I go to turn in a mission at the space station, I'll hear units received, and I'll get my rewards, but I don't get the notification of you've received this item or your standing has gone up with this particular group, because the pop-ups just don't happen. It just sort of waits and pauses, and I stare at the mission specialist, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, hey, do you want to try another mission or just leave? And I'm like, okay, let's leave. So I don't know why it does that, but I reported that one too. I had a really concerning bug the other day when I was on a planet and I was discovering animals and then some minerals, and then I went to, like, I logged them, and then I went to upload them to the server and get some extra nanites, and they were not there to be uploaded. It wasn't logging them in my log. And I was like, that's concerning. So I tried again. That was in VR, and I tried again in 2D on the TV, and it still didn't work. So then I left that planet and I went to the moon, which was the last thing I had to explore in that system. And on that moon, I was discovering plants and minerals, and they're fine. And they're showing up in the log, and I can upload them, and it's fine. So I think there might have just been some glitch on that one particular planet, but I still reported the bug just in case, you know. Yeah, I'm still obsessed. But that is not all that I have been playing. I've started playing Dragon Quest XI on my Switch. It's not out yet. I've pre-ordered my copy at Best Buy. It's out September 27th on Friday. Super psyched for it, as you know. I think I've mentioned it a couple of times. But they put out a demo. And I'm like, on the one hand, I agree with this person I follow on Twitter who's like, I am not downloading this. I already know I want it. I'm already going to buy it. I don't need to play the demo to show me that I want it. And also, I don't want to play the demo and then have to stop playing and wait for the game to come out to continue playing. because you can actually take your save from the demo and just keep playing with the game. When you get the game, it's literally the beginning of the game, so when you get the game, you can just continue playing from where you left off. You don't have to start over and do all that again, which is super cool. And I get that. And I'm like, yes, I see where you are coming from. However, I wanted to try it. Because sometimes I'll be super psyched for a game, and I'll play a demo of it, and I'll be like, oh, I am less psyched now. Maybe I don't want to play this after all. I did not enjoy that. It's happened a couple of times. Because more often than not, the demo is like a super fun taste of the game, like Dragon Quest Builders, where I was like, oh, this is fun. And I went and bought the game. And then I was like, this isn't actually fun as a full game. It was fun as a demo. As a full game, I'm like, no. There's a lot of gameplay systems in here that I am just not into, and this is not working for me. So I traded that back. But Dragon Quest XI, I was like, let me just make sure they didn't like screw up the battle system or something weird. Oh my god, it's so good. It's so good. I know everyone else, a lot of people have already played this on the PS4, but I said I'm going to wait to play it on the Switch. And I love that you can play it on the Switch, and it's got all this extra content, and it's great. I'm not going to play it in the 2D mode, because, no. I mean, I get it, but I want it in the 3D anime looking so beautiful. So I waited for the Switch version, and it's fine. Because also, I'll be able to play it more often on the Switch, because I can play it wherever I am. That will help me get through it faster, because it's a huge game. So instead of playing like for 6 months on my home system, I might be able to finish it in 3 or 4 months by playing it portably as well. But it's so good. And it's a long demo. I kept expecting it to end. Like, they're like, okay, climb this mountain. So you climb the mountain, fight some enemies, get to the top, beautiful cutscene. It doesn't end. I said, okay, we'll go down to the bottom. And they're like, okay, go talk to your mother. And I'm like, okay. Well, I'll go talk to my mother. So I'm like exploring the entire town and looking everywhere and looking at every nook and cranny and finding treasure chests and treasures and things and talking to everyone just because I wanted to prolong the experience of the demo. And then I talked to my mother and she's like, well, you should get some rest. And I'm like, this is where the demo ends. But then no, you get up and she's like, okay, you have to go off to the castle and talk to the king, so you should prepare and buy some supplies before you head out of town. So I go and do that, thinking as I leave town and the entire town is saying, good luck on your adventure, that's where the demo will end. It did not end. I then went to the next area, which is, you know, it's not really an open world, it's very like, here, follow this path. And there was a path where I was like, oh, let me go explore over there. And there was a guy there, he's like, don't go in here, the enemies on this side will totally massacre you. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's not in the demo. So that's fine. But in theory, I probably shouldn't be going that way anyway, because they probably are stronger enemies, because you are meant to go straight north, and not go east and south to that area, whatever it was. You're meant to go north, straight to the castle. And I started working my way north, and I got to a campfire, and the guy's like, hey, let me explain how campfires work. And I was like, okay, this is where I'll pause the game, because I've been playing for a couple hours, and it still hasn't stopped. I read online that the demo is actually about 10 hours long, so I'm like, can't take 10 hours to get to the castle. There must be more once you get to the castle, which is like super awesome. I will say that it is good at explaining some game systems, but then others no. Like it didn't, I got into a battle with some slimes, and the game didn't, there was no tutorial to say, this is how you battle. And I was like, okay, good thing I know how RPGs work, and I can just do it. And the menus, the help stuff in the menus was not terribly helpful either. But it looks gorgeous. The environments are stunning. The water glistens, the lens flare, it's like, oh. The characters have personality. I love this animation style. It's why Dragon Quest VIII is like one of my favorite games. So good. So it's like that again. It's just beautiful. Love it, love it, love it. And if there was some way that I could possibly drag this demo out for 3 or 4 weeks so that I could get to the 27th and then just keep playing it, that would be awesome. Unfortunately, I don't know if I'll be able to resist, But I might be able to resist because I won't be able to play it portably, which would help me to slam through the demo real quick, because when I'm at home I'm probably going to play No Man's Sky, but now I'm going to play some Dragon Quest 2. I'll have to mix it up, alternate. Because I can't play my Switch portably right now because it no longer has a left Joy-Con. And that is because Dragon Quest XI inspired me to send it in for repairs, because I have mentioned I am suffering from the dreaded Joy-Con drift. And normally it's just sort of annoying because your character will just suddenly bolt left out of nowhere and you have to steer him back right. But while playing the Dragon Quest demo, you know, dialogue's happening and the dialogue is filling in the text box as the voice actor is talking, and then you press A to move along to the next text box, and you press A, you know. But a couple of times I noticed that halfway through the dialogue it jumped ahead and cut the actor off, and it jumped ahead to the next text box, and I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And I discovered that in addition to pressing A, you can also advance dialogue boxes with a flick of the left stick. So occasionally the Joy-Con drift was advancing dialogue before they were finished talking to me. Now at this point it was just casual conversation, it wasn't a big deal. But I'm like, I don't want to get to this castle, talk to this king, and then have my Joy-Con flick, have the drift, flick the Joy-Con, and advance dialogue where I'm like, wait, 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 what were you saying about that super important mission that I have to go on? I want all the details. Don't be skipping dialogue for me. So I'm like, I have to suck it up and send it in. I was considering sending it in before playing Dragon Quest anyway, but this just cemented my decision. And I emailed them, and by the next day, I got the robo-email back in a reply, like, very quickly. And then the following day, it took all day, but by the end of the day, I had the emails with the instructions and the link to the UPS code, and today I went and packed it up, and I sent it off, and I went to the UPS store and mailed it off. And we'll see how long it takes to get it back. I think they said it could take like a couple of weeks. I have a month, which is fine, so if it takes 3 weeks, I'm good. But yeah, if I'm only going to be able to play my Switch at home now, maybe I won't play the demo as often, and maybe I can kind of milk it and drag it out a little bit. I kind of want to just take this big open area by the campfire and just go run around and fight a bunch of enemies and just have fun. Although I might end up like leveling up like way too much. So when I actually get to the game, the next section will be like really easy because I've been leveling up a lot. Because I just don't want to stop playing the demo. Like I don't want to get to the next story part because I'm afraid anytime I get to a story part, the demo will end, and then I will have to wait for the game to be released, and that will suck. So, like I said, I understood on Twitter, he was like, I don't want to have to do that, and I'm like, I get that, but I couldn't resist. And part of me is glad that I didn't, because it's so much fun. But then the other part of me is like, terrified that the demo will come to an end in the next moment, and then I will have to wait until next month to continue playing this amazing game. I'm so excited. We finally get to play it. So that's it for this episode. Come back next time and I will talk about more stuff, who knows what, and I'll see you then, okay? Sorry, this was a bit of a long one. I had a lot to talk about this time. Next one will be short, I promise. Bye!